Hello, how are you doing today? Please have a seat. Let's talk like two friends who value health and the wisdom that comes with time. Often when I see a patient in their 50s, 60s, or 70s, and I mention the word Tadalafil, I see a little smirk or sometimes a look of concern. I know exactly what is going through your head. You are probably thinking, "Doctor, I do not need that. Everything still works fine around here." Or maybe you think, "Isn't that just that pill for the heat of the moment, for people with impotence?" Well, today I want to break down those ideas. We were taught to look at certain medications as if they were only emergency tools, but medicine has evolved. Imagine that Tadalafil is like a high-performance additive that you put into the engine of a classic car. It is not just about making the car accelerate faster. It is about cleaning the valves, improving lubrication, and ensuring that the engine lasts another 10 or 20 years. Today, I am going to show you 5 benefits of this medication that go far beyond the bedroom. These are benefits that protect your heart, your brain, and your prostate. Stay with me until the end, because the last benefit will completely change how you view the aging process of your body. But before we get into the secrets, you might be wondering, how exactly does this medicine work in my veins? Think of your vascular system like the plumbing in a house. Over the years, pipes tend to get stiff, and the water, which is our blood, has a harder time flowing through. Tadalafil belongs to a class of medications that relaxes the smooth muscles of the vessels. When that muscle relaxes, the pipe opens up. The blood flows easily. The big difference here is the dose. You have probably heard of Viagra or sildenafil, which you take an hour before the action. Tadalafil is different. It comes in a 5 milligram version that we call daily use. It is like taking a small vitamin every morning to keep the system lubricated and ready at all times, rather than shocking the system once in a while with a high 20 milligram dose. And this is where the magic happens. Let's look at the first big benefit: heart protection. Now you might be thinking, "Doctor, I read somewhere that these pills attack the heart. Isn't that dangerous?" I hear this every single day. And the answer is, it is actually the opposite of what most people think. Tadalafil works throughout the entire body, not just in one specific spot. Recent studies discussed at the largest urology conferences in the world show that daily use helps reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes. To understand why, imagine the inner wall of your arteries. We call this the endothelium. Think of the endothelium like the non-stick coating on a brand new frying pan. Nothing sticks to it, and the blood slides through freely. Over time, due to stress, a poor diet, and age, that coating gets scratched and worn out. Fat starts to stick, forming plaques. Tadalafil acts like a restorer for that coating. It improves endothelial function and decreases inflammation and oxidative stress inside your vessels. It also improves the blood flow to the heart muscle itself. In other words, it helps your heart feed itself better with oxygen. Isn't that fascinating? What many thought was a risk is actually a protective shield when used with medical guidance. But it doesn't stop there. Let's move to the second benefit, which usually leaves my patients speechless: cognitive function and memory. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten what you went in there for? Or felt like your thinking isn't as sharp as it was in your 40s? You might be thinking, "Doctor, are you telling me that a pill for erections helps my brain?" Yes, I am. Think about it. The brain is the organ that consumes the most energy and oxygen in the human body. It depends entirely on perfect microcirculation. If the blood has trouble reaching the top, memory fails. There are very serious studies showing that Tadalafil and similar medications can act as a protective factor against degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. By improving blood flow in the tiny vessels of the brain, we help clear out the toxins that build up in neurons and keep the mind sharper. While it is not a cure for dementia, the evidence is very promising. It is like making sure the irrigation in your brain's garden is constant, so the flowers do not wither from a lack of water. Now, let's go to the third benefit, and this one affects almost every man I see. Prostate health, specifically what we call BPH, or benign prostatic hyperplasia. Do you identify with that situation where you have to get up 2 or 3 times a night to go to the bathroom? Or you feel that the urine stream is weak and you have to strain? You might think, this is just part of aging, my prostate grew, and now I just have to deal with it. No, you do not have to just deal with it. Since 2011, the leading health authorities in the world have approved the use of 5 mg Tadalafil to treat urinary symptoms. Remember when I said it relaxes smooth muscle? Well, it relaxes not only the veins, but also the bladder neck and the prostate muscles. Imagine your urethra, the tube where urine comes out, is like a hose being squeezed by a strong hand, which is the enlarged prostate. Tadalafil makes that hand relax its grip. The result? The flow improves, the bladder empties better, and you stop waking up so many times at night. You go back to having a restful night of sleep, and we all know that a man who sleeps well has better health, a better mood, and more testosterone. This leads us to a controversial point, which is our fourth secret: blood pressure control. I have seen many men get scared because after taking the medicine, they felt their face get warm or their nose get stuffed up. They immediately think, "My God, my blood pressure went up. I am going to have a heart attack." Listen closely to what I am telling you. Tadalafil is a vasodilator. By definition, it tends to lower blood pressure, not raise it. That red face or stuffy nose are actually signs that your blood is circulating more and your vessels are opening up. It is a common side effect, but usually harmless. In fact, many of my cardiologist colleagues are able to lower the dose of blood pressure medications when a patient starts daily Tadalafil because it helps keep the arteries relaxed. But here is a warning as a friend and a doctor. There is only one situation where this becomes dangerous. If you use medications called nitrates for your heart, like Isordil or nitroglycerin, you must never, under any circumstances, mix the two. Since both dilate the veins very strongly, your blood pressure could drop too low, blood stops reaching the brain, and then we have a serious problem. That is why you should never self-medicate. Always talk to your doctor. And now, we come to the fifth benefit, the one I promised would change your view on this topic: preventing fibrosis and maintaining the youth of penile tissue. Have you heard the saying, use it or lose it? In biology, that is an absolute truth. With aging, it is normal for spontaneous nighttime erections to become rare. You know what I am talking about. Those erections a man has while he sleeps without even noticing. You might think, well, doctor, I do not have those erections in the morning anymore. But that is normal at my age, isn't it? It might be common, but it is not ideal for your health. Those nighttime erections are your body's self-cleaning mechanism. They serve to flood the tissue with oxygen-rich blood, which prevents the elastic tissue from being replaced by scar tissue, which we call fibrosis. When a man loses these natural erections, the tissue starts to undergo a process of atrophy. Daily Tadalafil acts here like a silent physical therapist. It encourages the return of these physiological erections during sleep. Even if you are not thinking about sex, your body is there working to keep oxygen circulating and keeping the elastic fibers healthy. This means that by using this medication continuously, you are not just solving a problem today. You are investing in yourself 10 years from now. You are preventing the tissue from degenerating. It is an active prevention of future impotence. Do you see the difference? We are not talking about a little blue pill for a night of adventure. We are talking about a maintenance treatment for total male health. Often, the only thing blocking a man from these benefits is prejudice or a lack of correct information. We were raised in a generation where men do not complain, do not take care of themselves, and only go to the doctor when the pipe has already burst. But I am here to tell you that modern medicine allows us to act before the problem becomes irreversible. Do you want to have a strong heart, a sharp mind, a prostate that doesn't bother you, and an active, healthy sexual life? Then change your perspective. Look at your body as an asset that needs preventive maintenance. If you have felt any of these symptoms I mentioned, the forgetfulness, the trips to the bathroom at night, or the feeling that your circulation isn't what it used to be, know that there are paths forward. Do not accept aging as a silent defeat. I like to tell my patients, age is just a number on your ID, but the quality of your arteries tells you how old you really are. I hope this conversation has opened your eyes to the possibilities that science offers us today. If you feel this information makes sense for you, or if you know a friend who needs to hear it, do not keep it to yourself. Share it. Let's break the taboo that men's health is a forbidden subject. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I read what you write, and it helps me bring more topics that truly impact your daily life. And if you are not part of our community yet, please subscribe. Here we tell the truth, straight up, man to man, focusing on what really matters, your vitality and your dignity. A big hug from your doctor, and remember, taking care of yourself is the greatest act of respect you can have for your own story. I will see you next time.